YouTubers. Apparently people are watching this on different transmissions. Welcome everyone, welcome all. Big hug to everyone transmitting out of Merritt, British Columbia, the country music capital of Canada. And I want to send everyone a big hug that's watching this transmission. Apparently there's other platforms that are carrying this transmission, which is really interesting and I'm really excited to see. Trends in the housing market has been around for, I don't know, a couple of years now. And I've been talking about the housing market for, oh God, for like about 5 years now, since 2012 or 2011. I've been talking about the housing market. And today is Tuesday, the 11th of July, and I can't sleep. I kind of took a midday nap, had to drive down to the city today, and I had to make my way out to the city, and 2-hour drive, and spend a couple hours there doing business. And I had to take care of some business down there. So I got back home around 5 o'clock. So I took a shower and took a nap, and I just feel so alive right now. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go live. I got the number here. It's really interesting. I got 44 messages today of people asking me to do trends in the housing market today. Yesterday I got 9, and the day before I got like 40, 50 messages of people asking me when I'm going back live on trends. So I told them to subscribe to the little bell thing over by where I guess my channel is, to subscribe for live feeds and stuff. So anyways, okay, someone's messaging me saying they got the same type of chair that I'm in right now. Oh, this thing's awesome. It's like a race car Ricardo chair. It's like one of those Ricardo chairs. It's really good. And anyways, let's get to topic here. Welcome to Trends in the Housing Market. I can't believe the amount of people that want to watch fresh material or see my spin on some of these points of views, or what I feel or how I feel about what's happening. And it's important that people get out and kind of discuss what's happening, because I think it's a very good thing to create awareness. Because you got a lot of these blokes going around. I like saying the word bloke, by the way. I'm not British, but I like these people going around saying, I didn't know the housing market. I thought it was going to keep going up. And no, it's not. So lots of people asking me to go live. So I'm here. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday morning, and I can't sleep, so I'm going to do a show. So I got a few messages here from people that asked me, sending me personal messages about the housing crisis and stuff, and what I feel, or what they should do. I'm not a real estate agent. I don't know nothing. All I do is read articles, follow the trends in the market, kind of give an analysis of what's going on. You guys are the ones that interpret it the way you want to interpret it and understand what is going on, blah, blah, blah. So one guy messaged me saying, I have 4 properties in Toronto. I feel like a fool. And I asked him, when did you buy the property? He said, in the last 8 months. 6 months. And he can't sell them. You know, you got to buy what you could afford, people. If you know you can't, you have to think, okay, I'm going to buy 4 properties. Can I make the payments on these 4 mortgages? You know, some people do make a lot of money. Can I? Technically, yeah. And then I can rent it, and I could offset the extra income I have to pay off the mortgage and hold on to them, see if there's a bounce back in the markets and stuff. Now, if you can't afford to make that full payment, you're screwed. You know what I'm saying? And then someone else messaged me saying, I'm in Seattle. When do I sell? Seattle's on fire right now. Seattle, I don't see them putting any measures into place anytime soon. I see them going until whatever the governor of the state or whatever gets voted out. I see them going like this. I see Seattle going up like a rocket. You know why? Because it's helping the economy. You know what I'm saying? It's helping the economy, and it's bringing a lot of money to the city. And apparently today they introduced a new tax in Seattle, that they're taxing the richest people in the city, and a lot of people look like they want to leave. They want to raise taxes by 3% or 4% to the richest people, or the top percent in the city. So it looks like Seattle will see a swarm of wealth leaving if they pass this. So sorry about that, people. Um, and another thing that's been actually interesting is people have. When I went to Vancouver today, I went for a couple of hours just to do a couple of things in and out, and I actually had people recognize me today. Two people, a lady and then another guy. They're like, "Hey, I know you. You're Mike Martins." I'm like, "Oh, well, shoot. Did I maybe screw? Did I piss somebody off back in the day and they remember me?" It's like, "No, this is a good thing. They remember me. I didn't piss no one off, but I'm saying, yeah. It's me. It's Mike Martins. Yeah, because I love your channel. I don't miss an episode. And when you go live, it's too late because I have to go to work. I wake up early to go to work." And then the girl that was in line looked back at me. She goes, Aren't you that guy on YouTube talking about houses?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And she's like, "Yeah, you're really cool, man. But unfortunately, I can't comment on anything because if my employer found out, I could get fired. You know what I'm saying?" So Walking Journey is asking me a message here. Walking Journey, guys, check out his channel. Walking Journey. Is it possible to buy land in Canada, Mike, and live like I do? You can, but depending where you are, it gets very expensive. You're in Texas. I know you bought your land dirt cheap and your house and stuff, and you're doing well, and I'm happy for you. But in Canada, things are a little bit different here. Buying land for that much money is unless you really buy like 10 hours out of a city up north of the like north of into in the Northwest Territories somewhere out in the mid like 5-6 hours away outside of Yellowknife. Yeah, you could buy something for the price you did in Texas, but no, not here. Anyways, I want to do a quick plug. This is a really good. Sorry, I'm going into editing here. This is a really good series that I do called Living the Dream, Get Out of the City. So this is the house I bought before I renovated it and did some work to it. It's got many bedrooms. It has a total of 11 rooms, 3 living rooms, 2 kitchens, 2 areas to wash and dry clothes. It's a massive house. I paid $260 for this. I left the city. As my mom, my beautiful mom. We did this whole kitchen redone, and we did a lot of work on this place. The place is enormous. It's full of bedrooms, rooms everywhere. It's on a 0.9 acre of land, so it's almost an acre of land. And I invite you guys to join me. There's one of the master bedrooms. 3 of the bedrooms in the house have en suites, and that's us before painting the place. Enormous balconies, and join me on this. This is a really good series where I go in through different things and different projects. The whole kitchen looks complete. Can't even recognize the kitchen. Anyways, just thought I'd do this quick plug for you guys before we start. And let's kick off trends in the housing market. World's 10 least affordable housing markets, including San Jose, least affordable in the U.S., and San Francisco. So let's take a look at this. This is from today. Today's story, it's posted 4 hours ago. Way to go, San Jose. You're the least affordable city in the United States and the 5th least affordable city in the world. I mean, who would have who would have thought? San Jose is a nice. I've been there. The specific cities that are being picked out, that like a lot of cities, like Boulder, Colorado, and just outside of Kansas, some cities that you've never heard of are just exploding in price. I know San Jose because they have a hockey team. If they didn't have a hockey team, unless I've been there, which I have, if I haven't been there, I wouldn't even know, what's going on. Someone's asking me, housing market on Monday? No. I just couldn't sleep tonight. I'm wide awake. So I'm doing some trends today on Monday night. I'll be again live on Wednesday. So let's go. Way to go, San Jose. In fact, you are even less affordable than San Francisco, which is the only 9th least affordable city on earth. All this according to the Demographic International Housing Affordability Survey, an annual ranking for more than 400 cities around the world. From the top, the 10 least affordable housing markets in the world are. Everyone knows number 1, man. Everyone knows number 1. Hong Kong. Remember, I don't know how many square miles Hong Kong is, right? But Hong Kong's up there. One city that I'm kind of blown that's not up there, it's blowing me away, is Portuguese China, Macau. Macau is very expensive. I have some friends from Brazil move there. They got a job teaching Portuguese, of all things. And they said it's just ridiculously expensive to live there, and it's out of control. So I just wanted to put this list up for you guys so you can see this up to date. This is from 4 hours ago, okay? Sydney, Australia, no surprise. Sydneyers are bought out of the market. They're completely bought out. Sydney's finished. The housing market is even increasing. We waited for the last quarter to pass, and hopefully, you know, with things changing, they were hoping that there was going to be a plateau or a stale in the market. But no, Sydney is moving up. It's pushing still. Australian proper is toast. I feel bad for the Australian proper. Vancouver, Canada, number 3. The city I used to live in. Yep, it's out of control. Yeah, stick a fork in Sydney, it's done. Sydney is done. Yeah, Sydney's done, people. Vancouver, Canada, another city. It's a lot of people leaving. And a lot of people leaving Vancouver. I left Vancouver. I thought I'm not making headway. I'm not buying my house. I keep saving money, saving. I can't buy a house. Screw it. I just bought this house. I just bought this house. Free clear. With my down payment. Screw it. And it's been the best move leaving the city. And a lot of people, and I want to thank all the people. I got like maybe 5 people comment and tell me that they're living in Hope now. They're living in Kamloops now. They're living in Kelowna. They're living they moved to Williams Lake. They're moving to all these places, and they're saying, Mike, you know what? You're right. I'm making less money, but you know what? I have free time. And a lot of people are so happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Auckland, New Zealand, number 4. I would have thought, okay, per capita with space, Auckland, New Zealand would be with number 1. Well, it would be tied with Hong Kong, number 1. San Jose, hooray. It even says right there, hooray. Let me just zoom that in a bit so you guys can see it. San Jose, hooray. Then Melbourne, Australia, Honolulu, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Bournemouth and Dorset, United Kingdom. What do all these places have in common? They all speak English there. Free market. What do I know? Nothing. But that's what I'm telling you here. It's all happening. In Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom, and large parts of the United States, housing prices have gone through now unaffordable roof. An unaffordable roof. God forbid you need a roof on your house and you got to pay 10 large. What are you going to do? Take a line of credit. Fix the roof. Writes Dr. Oliver Hartridge, the economist of New Zealand, who penned the report's introduction. Thanks for the insight. So, let's move on. This one is a very, very good article. China's PBOC announces an army of over 400,000 to prevent money laundering. So China wants to prevent money laundering, which is really good, important because it's illegal for starters, and it's something that's crippling the free market war. The free market countries are just getting crippled by money laundering, and it is what it is. I'm just calling a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? Now, less and less money is leaving China by the day. June numbers from People Bank of China, PBOC, showed that the foreign exchange reserve rose once again. The number was just a slight increase, but the PBOC announced the new anti-money laundering measures that will likely mean even less money will be leaving the country in the near future. This could mean even more trouble for real estate markets like Vancouver, Auckland, New Zealand, that have become dependent on mainland Chinese buyers. Oh yeah, read it and weep, investors. Foreign exchange reserves rise by US dollars 3 billion. Safe numbers show that the capital outflows rose once again. The month ended with US 3 trillion in reserves, a US $3 billion increase from the month before. This is the 5th month in a row with reserves increase, but still a 4.65% decline from the year before, while the bump while the bump up is moderate, expect this to change drastically over the next few months. There's China's foreign exchange reserves. Look at that. It's just dipping. This is in billions. A dip like this is huge. A lot of people don't know the impact on the market, but this is actually pretty big. Money laundering in China. China has a self-admitted money laundering problem. But most people don't understand what that means. The Chinese government alleges trillions of yuan are stolen from the government and moved offshore by corrupt politicians. Most of this money ended up in good old-fashioned traditional money laundering areas like Southeast Asia and in South America. I'm kind of cheering on a crackdown for corrupt politicians as long as it's properly proven. However, a large portion of the money that exists in the country wouldn't be considered money laundering by any Canadian or American. Oh, heck, it's most of the world. It's not, Brian White is commenting, who is looking to the rate hike? As a young person, I'm happy. You know what, Brian, I got some good news. I got an article coming up just on that. Vancouver detached real estate is rising below the rate of inflation. Doesn't this mean there's a correction? Doesn't this mean this is good? Anyways, a lot of people commenting here in the comments section. Join me live, people. When you see me live, don't forget to subscribe to my live streams. I'll be back again live on Wednesday. And a lot of people commenting here about California back and forth. Don't worry, OC, this is what Walking Journey is saying. Don't worry, OC is the next second trash can. Last time I was in OC, it was starting to go downhill. OC will keep it clean, way better than LA. So there's a lot of people from California there in the comments section. I guess people are awake late at night, which is good, watching trends in the housing market. Vancouver detached real estate is rising below the rate of inflation. Doesn't this mean there's a correction? I mean, isn't this good news? Vancouver real estate might be printing fresh heights, but the detached market is now posting annual rises lower than inflation. Vancouver real estate may be booming, but someone forgot to tell the detached buyers numbers from the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, REBGV, continue to show a slide in demand. While the benchmark price has hit a fresh all-time high, year-over-year growth fell to a multi-year low. Benchmark prices increased slower than inflation. The benchmark price of detached homes grew, but barely. The price is now $1.587 million, of 1.5% increase from the same time last year. Yeah, it is. 1.4%. It's nothing. It's actually, I see a lot of people outside the market looking in the window and saying, yes, it looks like things are correcting. This also represents a 1.1 increase from the month before, and that's $26,900 more in human terms. The 1.4% year-over-year increase in the slowest since November 2013. Worth noting, this means prices have surpassed July's 2016 for an all-time high benchmark. And so somebody from Auckland is commenting here. Auckland, New Zealand markets seem to be correcting. Lots more listings taking longer to sell. The vendors waiting, wanting the high prices, though. Hopefully that will change soon. Clayton, are there still, if you could comment in the comment section, can you let us know in New Zealand if there is people auctioning? Are there still auctions? Are people going in to auction off properties? Is that still happening? Is that a trend there? Comment in the comment section and let me know. So let's move on. So it looks like things are correcting themselves in a good way. What rising interest rates mean for Vancouver real estate? Okay, so people are talking about, so let's look at, here, let me zoom that in so you guys can see it. And once again, I want to thank everyone joining us. Yeah, a lot of listings in the GTA. I got that coming up right now. A lot more articles coming up here on trends in the housing market. It is 11th of July, 2017. I want to thank you everyone for joining me. And I also want to thank people that see me in person and actually recognize me. I mean, that means a lot to me that people watch my show and like what they see. It really means a lot to me. Okay, so Clayton from New Zealand just commented, yes, lots of auctions, but they are being passed through about 50% sell rather than the 70% plus. That's good. That's good. So we got some good feedback from some boots in the ground there from Clayton in New Zealand. Keep us up to date on what's going on down there. Really, really, really appreciate it. I'm gonna get some sort of Skype phone number here or something. Maybe I'll hook up with Skype, and then I could get some of you guys calling in from international places to let me know what's going on. So let's continue here. I'm just looking outside. Someone's walking by my way down the street there. It's because I'm in the cul-de-sac, so you don't see a lot of people walk by. So when you see movement outside, you're like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? Bank of Canada expected to hike interest rates this week. Markets appear to be pricing in an imminent Bank of Canada rate hike on Wednesday. Here's why Maclean's believes interest rates are going up. Should Stephen Pelosi, the Bank of Canada, follow through with the expected 0.25 basis point increase, it will likely have a few impacts on Vancouver real estate. 0.25 is not too much on the grand scheme of things, but on $1 million, it is a bit of, you're looking at a bit of juice there. On $2 million, you're looking at punch, not juice anymore. You're looking at a punch bowl. So 0.25, I don't think it's nothing to laugh at, but it's just the start, because they have to stimulate the market somehow. And the only way to stimulate the market is by raising rates. Changing of the guard. Remember, they raised rates on Donald Trump, what, 5-6 times? 4 times since he's been in office? Because they want to blame it on him. They just want it to, okay, this is perfect timing. We got a guy who's president we don't like. Let's just keep raising the rates so it could fall. It could collapse under his, But I think the country will go strong, and because the U.S. is not facing a bubble, Seattle is, but Seattle's got to learn their lesson, and so is Portland and California. The rest of the U.S. looks like it's intact. Sure, Manhattan's expensive. Manhattan's always been expensive. You know what I'm saying? The Hollywood Hills is expensive. It's always been expensive in those areas. That's fine. You're expected to pay $1 million for a house there. Not in some crack shack down the street. That's what I'm getting at here. You know what I'm saying? Here, let's go. Changing of the guard. First, it has the potential to create a psychological change or shift in the market. The real estate market has gotten comfortable with historically low interest rates, like Max Kaiser always says on the Kaiser Report. It's free money. It's money. It's free. It's all free. You know what I'm saying? Get it while you can. The first rate hike in over a decade should signal the market that borrowing money is about to get more expensive, and ultimately buyers' purchasing power will be lowered. Could this trigger sellers to cash in now? With condo inventory at a decade low, it could certainly be a welcoming change. So look at this graph here. It's a nice little graph. This is the total inventory here. Vancouver condo inventory falls to a decade low. And then debt will rise. Canadians will owe $211 billion on home equity lines of credit. I've been telling you guys this. Stop riding off the coattails of the equity in your damn house. Thank you. I had to get that off my chest. But it's retarded. Save your equity to retire. Save your equity for your kids. Save your equity for one day when you sell your house, you get a big chunk of change and feel happy about yourself. Now you got to sell your house and pay off all your debts if you even get ahead. Even if you get ahead, Canadians will owe 2 points. Hold on. I just want to send a shout out to, Steve Saretsky. Sorry, this article's by Steve Saretsky. Guys, don't forget to follow his channel too. Steve Saretsky is here. He is here. If you see him here, he's on Facebook. He's actually he actually knows what he's talking about. He's a real estate agent for many years. He knows what he's doing, so he knows what he's talking about. And that's why this is a really well-written article, and I'm really happy to be reading this on my show. So it's people riding the coattails off the market. 40% of people, HLOCs, not making regular payments against the principal, rate hikes becoming a growing concern. Yeah, you know, I'm going to make the minimum payment. I'm just going to wait for the equity to grow and then use a little bit of that back. No! You're... Oh, man, I'm hot. It's hot, people. I'm hot. No, this is a big no-no. You can't do this. Fixed term mortgages. Okay, fixed term mortgages, you're good for the next couple of years till you have to renew. If you're on a variable rate, Merry Christmas. You're screwed. You got your present early this year. You have to go to your bank before rates go up and renegotiate if you're on a variable rate mortgage, because it's going to go up and it's going to keep going up, and your payment's going to go up 200, 300, up to $300 a month more. And if you can afford that and your TDS fits, good for you. But if you can't, maybe start negotiating with your bank some sort of terms or something, or maybe renegotiate the deal that you have. What a rate hike could mean for Canada's housing market. Oh my God, I'm starting to yawn. I wasn't tired earlier, but all this reading makes me think, you know what I'm saying? So people are commenting there in the comment section. Comment section's going pretty strong now. What a rate hike could mean for Canada's housing markets. Another article. Same thing. With all eyes toward the Bank of Canada interest rate decision on Wednesday, some of Canada's top housing minds analyzed what a potential rise in the markets might mean in the nation's hot rising market. Here's what they told BNN. Needing a return to normal. Kevin Summers of Roller Page. Okay, since the onset of the Great Recession nearly a decade ago, Canada's economy has been running on emergency power, providing mainly by low interest rates. The Bank of Canada's indication of imminent rate hike is a positive signal that the Canadian economy is in a place of stability and ready to withstand a slight interest rate increase. Okay, well, let's see how it faces against the wind. I mean, don't count. I mean, they're already counting they're putting the cart before the horse is what they're doing. They're putting the cart before the horse, and they're jumping the gun, and they're thinking that, oh yeah, no, this is all good. I mean, unless these people, these really internal people, really know what's going on, and we don't. Like, I mean, we're outsiders looking in. You know what I'm saying? Toronto's real estate market is feeling the after effects of the housing bubble that peaked during the first quarter of this year. In theory, the Bank of Canada raising interest rates by 25 basis points would have a dampening effect on the demand for homes. But I'm not convinced we're going to see any imminent effects. What are you smoking? You're not going to see any effects. People are going to stop buying houses. More houses are going to go on the market. Is that an effect for you? If we look south of the border to the United States, has seen 3 rate increases totaling 75 basis points since December 2016. Yeah, because Trump's in power. They got to make him look bad. Demand for homes still appears to be strong in the case Schiller. Okay, the demand for homes, because if you still go to South Carolina, you still go to North Carolina, you still go to Georgia, you still go to places like North Florida, you still go to places like Tennessee, you'll still buy a house for $100,000. So housing going up 10-15% of those areas isn't much. If the house starts out at 150,000, we're talking about houses. They're comparing houses that are $2-3 million in comparison to houses that are worth $100,000. Anyways, I'm not liking this article. The big unknown is whether the fear of future interest rate hike will outweigh fears about buying into the market that has seen prices trending down over the past 3 months. No one wants to buy now if they think prices will fall further. Goodbye. Woo! Thanks for joining me, people, for Trends in the Housing Market. 'Tis I, your humble servant, Mike Martins. Today is the 11th of July, 2017, if you're just joining in with us. Don't forget to watch my live shows Wednesday night. I do the odd show here and there. I also do rants and lifestyle, talking about bull crap that's happening around the world. I want to start doing my rants and lifestyle on Sundays again. I just need to make some time, you know. I got the store running. I got a new shop. I got another show that I want you guys really to watch. It's called Building a Business from Scratch. I take an old, decrepit building here in downtown Merritt and turn it into a beautiful, attractive shop for kids to come and hang out and people to come and spend money and open a grocery store for Rosie. Check that show out on my channel. It's really good, opening a business from scratch. I think small retail stores will make a comeback. Mark my words. The big box stores with overheads and taxes and payrolls and all that stuff, I think the big box stores just can't handle the taxes, and all the freebies are running out. And I see the big box stores going out, and I see mom and pop shops opening up in small towns. That's just the way I see it. That's just what I'm forecasting. Anyways, let me just um, wet my beak here. So people are saying, someone's asking me to open a cigar shop in Merritt. There is one already. So I looked into it, but I'm not into selling tobacco, booze, and stuff like that. I like what I do, and it's really nice. So this is a really good one. Okay, this is from June, and I just saw this article today, and I really want to share it with you guys. Waiting for Canadian housing crash? Warren Buffett bets against it, buying 38% stake in Home Capital Group Inc. So remember the whole Home Capital Group fiasco that happened about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, that whole fiasco, and they took pensioners' money, and they basically took it and bailed it out. Well, Warren Buffett, who's rarely ever wrong when it comes to money, basically bought out a stake in the company, Home Capital Group, saying, no, it's not. Well, Warren Buffett's deal to back Home Capital Group Inc. does more than support a struggling mortgage lender. It's a vote of confidence for a housing market that everyone from investors to global ratings companies say is a bubble ready to burst. Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway Inc. is buying 38% stake in Home Capital Group for about $400 million. $300 million, I guess 400 million Canadian, 300 million US, and providing a $2 billion credit line to backstop the Toronto-based lender with the deal. The billionaire investor is wading into the housing market that's being labeled overvalued and overleveraged, with the home prices in Toronto and Vancouver soaring as household debt hits record levels. Naysayers have been dissing our banks and dissing our real estate market for years because we didn't go in the can the way the Americans did in 2008 and 2009, and they've been waiting for the collapse in our markets, said Ross Healy, chairman of Toronto-based Strategic Analysis Corp. The home capital investor who bought shares when they dipped at least to $6 Canadian last month. Am I concerned about that? Nope. Say thank you, Warren Buffett. So this is it. Home Capital's poster child. So I wanted to put this out there so you guys know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? This actually got by me, you know. Yeah, someone just say, not if you think about the equity that Buffett just bought. Yeah. Yeah, Hudson's Bay. All these other companies are looking like they're gonna flop, and I don't know. What do you guys think of Buffett's investment in Home Capital Group? He seems very, very sure of himself on this one, from how he quoted himself. He seems very sure. I don't know. I wouldn't put 300 million into that. I don't have 300 million, but if I did, I would not invest it into Home Capital Group unless I want to flip it when it reaches 10, buy it at 6 and sell it at 10. Something like that, sure. I would play the market like that. But for something long term, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it working out. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Toronto real estate market makes a sharp turn. So this is this is a month later after Buffett purchases the Home Capital Group stocks. Toronto real estate market sharp turn. Price growth is slowing. Sales are dropping and inventory is hitting highs. Interesting. There's Toronto. There's the Sky Dome. Toronto real estate, the new multi-year record but not exactly one it wants to advertise. June numbers from the Toronto Real Estate Board, TREB, show a huge number of sellers are lining up with inventory, but buyers aren't really there. Generally speaking, the market saw a slowing price growth, a huge drop in sales, and a multi-year highs in inventory. Benchmark prices are up, average sale prices are down. The prices of homes across the GTA remain high, but they definitely aren't growing out the same rate as before the province's cooling measures. The benchmark price of composite homes, that's the price of a typical home with a luxury bias removed, is now 810 large, a 25.3% increase from the same time last year. In Toronto proper, that number was 829,000, 24.22% increase, while the number is in no way crashing. That's the conservative increase by Toronto measures. So look at that arc, people. Kaboom! It's like a roller coaster. It's like one of those really cool roller coasters. And then this is the big peak you go down. This is the big one that everyone puts their hands up while the roller coaster goes down. Look at that. Aha! So you can read the article on your own if you guys like. Brace yourself. A perfect storm is brewing in the housing market. Another article. This is now where a few months down the road they're going to say, "What? You didn't read that article we wrote? Well, you weren't paying attention?" Well, this is something that's been brewing for the last decade. Now we get the real test, a potential of proverbial perfect storm for housing. First, for the first time ever, Canada's facing an overvaluation in its biggest markets, over-embedment consumers, and major tightening of mortgage rules, and the prospect of rising rates. This is not a drill. Homeowners might as well start preparing for three things: tougher mortgage guidelines, higher rates, and then we've been discussing this the whole time, home prices under pressure. Now let's skip to what to do, because we've already covered all this in this show and past shows. The housing market is repeatedly defied expectation despite everything the government has thrown at it. So like I said, a lot of government underlying things to keep this going. Why? It said at the beginning of the article, it's the biggest market is housing. Not oil, not lumber, not nickel, not gold, not silver, not uranium, not solar power, not refined gasoline, not plastic, not cars. Houses is our number one market driver. The housing market repeatedly defied expectations despite everything the government thrown at it, and the market predictors are wrong half the time, so it's almost foolish to call a top with confidence. But I will say this. Please don't feel rushed to buy any short-term spurt. It could easily fizzle as sellers start to realize what's happening. And while we're at it, can we shelve that overused acronym FOMO, fear of missing out? There's now far less risk of waiting for your dream home. In fact, you may very well find it on sale this fall. So, not for sale, on sale, bargain price. Let's keep going. Let's head over to London. Let's go to England. Let's go to England, to merry, jolly old England. Asian investors spend $4 billion on London property. That's a lot. This is from July 9th. It's from a day ago. Asian investors are continuing to buy up London's commercial property, taking advantage of sterling's weakness, the pound sterling's weakness, and looking beyond mounting economic uncertainties. Undeterred, Asian firms spent more than $4 billion on property in the capital in the first 6 months of 2017, according to Cushman and Wakefield. The investment accounted for almost half of all deals in the period, with $8.8 billion being invested in London. housing, commercial property market in 6 months to July. In the 6 months to July. Big ticket deals, including Hong Kong-based CC Land Holdings, purchased Linden Hall building, the cheese grater, for 1.15 billion, and One Kingdom One Kingdom Street for 300 million. The 315 million property at 20 Grisham Street was also snapped up by investors at China Resources Limited, while the Singapore-based Hobby Land purchased 67 Lombard Street at 129 million. Research, so this is it. Look at this. Who owns London? Millions of square feet of property. So Cantran Wharf Group, City of London. Activity from Asian Pacific investors, including China, Hong Kong, and Singapore, was at its highest in 5 years and accounted for 46 PC of all deals. Asia Pacific investors from across the entire region dominating the London market in the first half of this year are set to continue with strong ongoing interest in assets right across the risk spectrum. So what's happening is England, it's basically selling itself out. London. All the landmarks, big buildings, and historical sites are selling themselves out, basically to the highest bidder. Why? Because these countries are going bankrupt. The EU has been a failure since the beginning. I'll do a show on Rants and Lifestyle about the EU and how it's such a big failure. And it was designed to fail. Everybody knows that. So if you think it's not, then go to another channel. If you think it is, it's a good thing. It's not. Holy crap, a car just drove by. I never see traffic on my street. So anyways, yeah. It's snatching up these properties, and basically the London local or the London proper or the British proper can never get these properties. They'll never get them back. They'll never get those properties back. They lost them. So it's more of a economic takeover, not a military takeover. And comment below, what do you guys think about that? Is it a military or economic takeover? This is more of a economic takeover, definitely. And how do you guys feel about that? Let's move on. Who would move to Sydney, the harbour city that has priced itself out of reach? By Greg Jericho. Interest rate cuts should reduce mortgage payments, but Sydney runaway price growth has more than outweighed its benefits of those cuts. There's Sydney Harbour. So off to Australia we go. Thanks for joining me on Trends in the Housing Market. Today is 11th of July, 2017. If you're just joining me, thanks for watching. I can't see housing policy proposed in New South Wales budget lowers stamp duty and more construction doing anything than tinkering around the edges. The latest housing price figures released this week by Bureau of Statistics show that Sydney housing prices continue to greatly outpace the rest of the nation. So drastically have the house prices risen in the harbour city over the past 5.5 years since the Reserve Bank began cutting interest rates that the affordability problem is now so bad that it almost appears impossible to solve. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I'm just putting this out. Someone's hungry and they're going out to eat pho. Someone commented, I'm hungry. Go eat some pho, buddy. Anyways, a few years ago, I was offered work in Sydney, which would have necessitated my moving from Canberra. While the work was attractive, I recall rejecting the offer without much thought. Aside from my wife already having a great job and our kids being well settled in Canberra, moving was never really on our cards because we knew buying a house equivalent to what we own in Canberra was well beyond our means. So like I said, it's the Sydney and the Melbourne brain drain. And someone's commenting here, well, you also got these racial divides occurring and far right and far left making the center political paradigm silent. Anyways, yes, I know pho. I eat pho a lot. It's Vietnamese food, and I do eat pho a lot. So yes, I eat it maybe twice a week. Anyways, so this is what's happening. This is it's out of control, people. Sydney, I really feel, and people keep asking me, and I'm going to keep telling the same exact story in and out. People ask me all the time, how do they keep Sydney afloat like this? How can they keep these prices going up? It's very simple. And I told you guys this last week's show, and people keep asking me the same question. I'm going to explain to you guys how it's possible. It's by pushing out the local people, the brain drain, basically the people of importance that can't afford to live there anymore, pushing out the locals and bringing in investors and making the harbor a paradise for rich people, a playground for the rich. That's the only way Sydney could continue on its trend and eventually, basically, continue dominating the market like it has. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to become that. Cities like LA will become that. Cities like San Francisco has already become that, where it's becoming a playground only for the rich. And the San Francisco proper that's been living there and born and raised for like 3 generations cannot live there anymore and cannot afford to live there anymore. You know? So let's move on. Another Sydney article. Sydney, Melbourne rise in housing price ranking. It's out of control. Sydney and Melbourne has risen in global ranking of cities with the fastest growing in dwelling prices, but the pace of their gains is expected to slow over the next year. They've been saying it's going to slow in the last 5 years. Nothing slow there, people. I've been watching the Sydney and Melbourne markets, I don't know, for the last how many years? Like 7, 8 years? It's been out of control. Okay, only until the last 5 years that people started taking notice in 2012. They're like, hey, I mean, the average house is going out of control. What's going on here? So someone's messaging to me saying that Brisbane is way cheaper. Yeah, Brisbane is cheaper place to live. I know that Darwin right now is in a housing crisis collapse. Darwin, Australia, North Australia, is in a huge housing crisis collapse. So let's go to Australia. New Zealand, I'm sorry. New Zealand is really good. This is a really good article I want to share with you guys. Bill English on affordable housing in Auckland. Housing affordability in Auckland is improving, even though many special housing areas haven't gone ahead. Prime Minister Bill English says. Mr. English told Morning Report that Auckland Housing Accord, under which the fast-track housing areas were set up, highlighted the challenges of trying to make private developers build affordable homes, and falling prices were not helping. I don't see any private developers want to build affordable homes. You know what I'm saying? If the market's hot, they want to build stuff to make big money. Developers in the SHAs got a special treatment such as speedier consent process of rezoning, and under the system, at least 10% of the homes they built had to be classed as affordable. So what's affordable? 800,000? Remember the article I read? I read for you guys about that house, new for home time buyers. Introduction home, $980,000 for first time home buyers. Like, what are you smoking? Anyways, Mr. English told Morning Report affordability was improving because of the changes in the market and due to support of government and council policy. And so, buddy, Mr. Clayton down in New Zealand said, no, it's not. And they said they build 5 bedrooms. Yeah, they're building these big houses to accommodate wealthy investors. That's all it's for. The New Zealand proper is basically bought out. And then I got a lot of messages from people from New Zealand saying that a lot of the homes for affordable housing are contaminated from meth smokers, crack smokers, drug users and stuff, have completely damaged and destroyed properties that are not being fixed because of the damage it's caused, and they're just basically sidelining the poor, sidelining the sick, sidelining, it's disgusting, you know what I'm saying? So this is what's happening. So you got, people have to start accounting. There's got to be some sort of accountability to this. And they're trying to find out. I know what's happening, and I've been seeing this trend. The media is trying to put the blame on something. They don't know what to blame it on. You know, they can't blame it on foreign investors because it's racist. They can't blame it on the government because they're controlled by the government. They can't blame it on certain things because then it would affect people's feelings. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Buddy from New Zealand saying, I put an offer on a house in April, subject to meth test. Best $200 I spent. So there you go. There's people, and it failed. There you go. So people need to do meth tests on some of these properties to make sure that they're not contaminated, and they cost $200, according to this gentleman here, Clayton Campbell, told me. Basically telling us here in the comments. So this is very important that you guys do your meth tests down in New Zealand. I know it's sad, but it's true. The last thing you want to do is put the cart before the horse. Is the last thing you want to do. And this is just a bunch of talking in circles. I read this article earlier, talking in circles, and there's really no gratification for the working poor. Once the working poor can't afford to live, it's when people have nothing to lose, that's when things start going bad. You know what I'm saying? Housing demand leads to a first for Seattle neighborhood. So again, Seattle, a typical home in Queen Anne sold for just over $1 million. I remember 2 years ago in Queen Anne, you could buy a house for like $330,000, just over $1 million in June, according to Seattle Times, citing the Northwest Multiple Services that it's 11.3% increase from just a month. 11.3% increase from a month earlier when Queen Anne homes were just selling for $900,000. So they're over $1 million now. Seattle and the East Side both continue to set records. Median homes prices in Seattle hit $750,000 last month, $21,000 from the month before. East Side home prices hit a record of $885,000 last month. Prices also rose for King County on the whole, with the average home now going for $653,000 large. Home. Not a state, not a plantation, not a mansion, not a manor, a home for $653,000 large. It's about 800 large Canadian. So it says here, strong job growth, price appreciation, and low interest rates continue to fuel the pungent sound housing market. Say General Scott, chairman of CEO John L. Scott. So, like I said, there's an article here. What I was yeah, this is the one I was reading. I was talking to you guys about earlier. Let me just open it. Seattle income tax passes with anonymous council approval. This is the tax where they want to start taxing people that have higher incomes. Here it is. A 2.5% Seattle income tax would apply to earnings just after January 1st, 2018. Seattle residents that make over $250,000 large to $500,000 for joint filers. So what's going to happen? Brain drain in Seattle. People can't afford to live in Seattle or in the region of in the Seattle area. People are just going to start leaving the state, and there's going to be a huge brain drain there. Watch some of my older shows, please, guys, if you don't mind, because I do go in depth in Seattle, and I really want you guys to know what's going on in Seattle. It's really important because they didn't learn they didn't learn their mistakes from or took notes on what Vancouver did. They just told the investors to come on down, and that's what Alberta and Calgary has been doing lately, and no one's been showing up there, but everyone's been going to Seattle, and Montreal looks like it's on fire. Scrap mortgage insurance to avoid housing crash, says finance. Okay, so I saw this article. It's from today, and it says scrap mortgage insurance to avoid housing crash. Financial advisor. Canadians with bated breath for confirmation of the Royal Bank of Canada's anticipated hikes in rates. The National Bank looks to set a rise in lending rates, which could cause debt-laden Canadians a bit of financial headache if it transpires. This move will be the country's first interest rate increase in nearly 7 years. One sector could be hit the hardest by potential rate rise is the mortgage market. The Bank of Canada has already increased interest rates on fixed-term contracts ahead of Wednesday's announcement. So, expert in Canadian real estate Macbeth said that mortgage financing plays a huge role in housing pricing and that getting rid of mortgage insurance would make housing affordable again and get the real estate market back on track. Banks have proven time and time again all across the world that especially after long periods of no loan losses like we have now, they get complacent like everybody else does, and they lend more and more freely, said Macbeth. Scrapping mortgage insurance would reduce the chances of mortgage-related bailout, and home prices would start to decrease in line with the amount of banks that would be willing to finance, according to Macbeth. See, the banks don't lose, right? When they get the CHBC, whatever the hell you call that, CHNB, whatever, CHBC, whatever, they don't lose because the mortgages are insurance, right? So they're saying if they scrap that, it would be a lot of banks would stop lending money so freely. And it's true. It's 100% true. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the bank wants to float 200 grand to some guy, you know, or 200 grand. You can't even buy a parking lot. I don't think the bank wants to float $1 million hoping the guy will pay it back on an uninsured mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, I'm getting tired. You could scroll back if you go to the show here. If you just tuned in, you could scroll back to the beginning of the show. I cover a range of topics here that are really important. What do you guys think? Comment below. Scrap the mortgage insurance to avoid housing crash. That would be good because then the banks are on the hook for the mortgages, and then the banks, like I said, won't be floating $2-3 million. Oh, here's $3 million. We're insured. There you go. You know what I'm saying? And the interest rates could go up, and then that could start correcting things. But anyway, someone's commenting saying the system is on fire on a global. Yeah, man. Every English-speaking country with a free market is finished. It's on fire. New Zealand, Australia, England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Canada, half the United States speaks English, the other half speaks Spanish. United States. All those countries with their free markets are starting to see, and they're starting to burn. And they got to figure something out to put this housing market in line because people need to live somewhere. And if they keep pushing people out of the cities, it's going to make things more harder. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I want to thank you guys for subscribing. Don't forget to share my videos. I know I'm kind of everywhere in these videos, but I like to read the comments out loud and on the comment section here. I'll be live on this Wednesday after the announcements made with the interest rate hike. I'll be on earlier, of course. I came on late tonight. I just couldn't sleep, but now I'm tired, so I'm going to bed. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to tune in on Wednesday, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you.